I'm Ilysa, and today I wanted to share with you an air dry clay. It comes in a variety of colors, and it's Clay Craft by Deco. And if you've never worked with air dry, and if you're used to working with polymer clay, there's a few differences. Well, actually quite a few differences. But the thing is, obviously with air dry clay, it dries by the air. And with polymer clay, you have to bake it. There is a variety of colors, and you can mix colors. The white comes in this bigger one, so you could, if I wanted a light blue, I could mix in some white. If I wanted a pink, I could mix in some white to the red. So you can mix colors. You have your basic palette, and then you can go from there and mix it. I did find that the clay did not dry out as fast as I expected. I just tape up my package like so, and when I went to use it again, it was still as pliable as the first time I used it. It has like a wet feel to it. Let me get some out to show you. It can be stretched like so. It has a little wet feel to it, although it's not watery, but it's really easy to work with. That is one of the advantages. So if you have hands that are not that strong and you have issues with polymer clay or some of the brands of polymer clay, this is very easy to use. And it would be really good for kids too. It's recommended to make flowers, and that's what the clay was created for. And there's this book available, and here's some plumerias that they show. They show a wide variety of flowers, some daffodils. So this is a really nice book, and shows you how to do all these different varieties of flowers. So you definitely want to check that out. Now they have these different molds, which is what intrigued me the most about it, and that they got me wanting to try it because I really like these molds. I've never seen them before. I think they're a unique product and very easy to use. So I took just a little piece out, and I like to shape it in like a cone shape at the bottom and then lay it onto the mold, and it'll pick up all this veining that you see here on the mold. So you can do it at the bottom, you can do it at the top if you wanted to do it on the side, whatever you want, that's entirely up to you. So you just push it onto the mold, and when you pull it off, there's this beautiful veining. And how easy was that? So if you're looking to do flowers and leaves and things like that, I would definitely pick up these molds because they were very easy to use, and I really, really liked those and thought they were unique. And they're just made out of like a hard plastic. But really, really cool idea. I like that. And what I like to do when I'm working with a new product is to kind of figure out what works with it and what doesn't. So here I used some alcohol inks and kind of just painted them on with my fingers. So alcohol inks will work with this to color it. I used some pigment ink through a stencil in silver here and did that. And actually used a cookie cutter to cut it out. So you can use cookie cutters. The one thing about this air dry clay is that it's fibrous. So it has these little fibers, but I think that you could exploit that and get a really cool look like I did here with this heart. I like the fibers, so I left the fibers kind of there to give it like a little grungier kind of look. And I just embedded some of these gears and stuff, and I got a little unique look. And I put this in between two pieces here so it stays. So it's not meant for jewelry, but you can get around that, and you could make jewelry. I would seal this, however, so that if it gets wet, nothing will happen to it. But you can definitely make jewelry out of it, even though it's not made for that. And here's another heart I did, where I went through some punchinella with some ink. Actually, I think this was paint that I used. Yes, it was an acrylic paint. And that adhered really well as well. So you can do paints, you can do inks, you can do pigments, and you can even do like a pearl pen. So I tried to add some of the metallic leaves. I did get resistance on that. They didn't really want to stick to the clay, but if you force it, you can get it to stick. So that's another option if you want to add a little more dimension to the clay. But these pearl pens worked really well, dried on there really well. So if you wanted to put like a middle of the flower and add these little pearl pens to make a really cool center. That's an idea as well. One of my favorite things I think that worked with this was the crackle paint, which worked phenomenally. I thought it looked really great. Here's the Tim Holtz crackle paint, and that just really worked well. I just painted it on there before it dried, and as it dried, it crackled. And you can come back and add the powdered pigments into the little cracks to highlight it and accentuate those cracks. But I'd have to say that this piece here was my absolute favorite. And as you can see, it's just the yellow clay. And what I did was I took a blue powdered pigments and I painted it over it with a paintbrush. And then I added some Croco Crackling color in bronze on top of that. And it gave it such a cool look. I just love the way that looks. So don't be afraid with these air dry clays to paint them, to add pigments, to stencil on them, and just, you know, have fun with it. They're as easy to work with as polymer clay, but, you know, like I said, there are some differences. One, you don't have to bake it, which is a plus. 2, it does have some fibers in it. And 3, it's not as durable as polymer clay. So here's this. If I wanted to, I could bend this and break this. It's very light and airy. Like, it weighs absolutely nothing. I mean, seriously, it weighs very, very little. Whereas polymer clay is more dense and has a heavier weight to it. Although polymer clay is not heavy, it's heavier than the air dry clay, which is more, I guess, of a spongier consistency, like a hard sponge. So you could break it, and if you wanted to, you could bend it and break it, but obviously you don't want to. But otherwise, as far as like throwing it down, it's pretty durable. So don't worry about that. If you drop it, chances are it's not going to break on you. So those are some of the things that you can do with it. I think it has tons of potential. If you're into making flowers, I would certainly, definitely pick up this book. And I think there's a second book too, that's written and has different flowers and things like that. And I think you'll find it really helpful. And here's on the back is some pumpkins they did. There was a really cute Valentine's Day thing. There's even a snowman that she shows how to do. But so different holiday things. So the clay is really meant for sculpting rather than to make jewelry. Like I said, because it isn't waterproof. Whereas polymer clay is waterproof. So that's an advantage to the polymer clay, it's waterproof. So, but who's going to wash a decoration like that anyway? So, although I imagine if you sealed it, you could probably wash it. You know, sealed it with like a lacquer or something like that. So there's lots of possibilities to this clay. I would definitely give it a try. I really like how it feels in my hands. You can cut it with a regular polymer clay blade. You could use just a single-edged razor blade or an X-Acto knife, whatever it is that you feel comfortable with. You can use knitting needles to poke holes in it. So the holes go through real easy, as you can see. Almost all the different kind of things that you would do with polymer clay, such as add texture, you can do with this as well. So definitely check it out. I'll add the website on so you can go check out more of the things that you can make with it and where you can get it if you want to give it a try. Again, I just used a rolling rod to roll it out flat, just like you would with polymer clay. And as a matter of fact, I rolled it through my pasta machine without it sticking too. So you can get flat sheets if you use your pasta machine. You can make your flat sheets just with a rod, but if you use your pasta machine, you can get the same thickness. And you could probably even get a nice stripe too, if you were going for a stripe just by stacking it right on top of each other and going for like a stripe. Obviously different colors you would use. But as you see, let me show you this, and this will give you an idea. It doesn't cut right through with the blade like it would with polymer clay. It leaves these little tiny fibers. I don't know if you can see those or not. So you get a different look with it. But of course you can use your finger to smooth down the fibers and they're gone in a second. But I kind of like the fibers. That's one of the things I liked about it. But super easy to use. You don't need an oven. It dries in about 24 hours or less, and you can really have fun with this clay. I think it has a lot of potential, and I would check it out. So thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoy playing with air dry clay.